Now, from the Low Country's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
Right now, state officials say at least 125 people in South Carolina have the coronavirus. Yesterday, they announced 2 additional deaths from the virus, bringing that total number to 3. One of those being in Charleston County, and DHEC says that patient was an elderly person with an underlying health condition and was a resident of Harmony Assisted Living Facility. Some of those new cases reported yesterday include cases in Beaufort, Berkeley, Charleston, and Orangeburg counties. Here's a look at those total numbers here in the Low Country. The majority of increased cases are in the Midlands, with Richland County seeing 14 new cases. 2 Low Country hospital systems are set to implement a no visitor policy because of the coronavirus. Trident Health is no longer allowing visitors starting Monday morning. However, there are some exceptions. They include visitors for patients with hospice care, life-threatening illnesses, parents visiting a child needing emergency care, or ER patients taken to triage. If you're visiting someone in the ER, you'll need to wait outside the hospital, and visitors must be 18 years or older. East Cooper Medical Center in Mount Pleasant is also doing the same. Its no visitor policy is in effect right now. Hospital officials understand there are situations that may require exceptions, but they say it's an effort to keep patients and staff safe. Mayor John Tecklenburg is making 3 new requests of people who live in Charleston. He is asking that everyone stay home and limit their trips to only essential places. If you develop symptoms of a cough or a fever, self-quarantine immediately. He's also asking that to be a good neighbor and don't hoard groceries and other household supplies. We have a warm day ahead here in the Low Country before getting a slight cool down later this weekend. This morning, we are joined by meteorologist Joey Sovine from his home. Never thought I would say that, Joey. He is helping us with all of this social distancing. And once again, he is right there from his house. How's it going this morning, Joey?
Good morning, Alexis. I think the house is starting to wake up. I hear some feet out the door, and my wife, God bless her, she's sleeping about 15 feet away from me. So let's talk about what's going on with your weather. Yeah, this is going to be the new norm for a little while as we all practice that social distancing, making sure we're away from people, especially if we can in the workplace. That's very, very important. Look outside this morning, talking about our weather. It should be a really nice day. We've been almost spoiled, although I think we kind of deserve it with everything going on. Some really nice weather, and it's been perfect this week to get the kids outside. Very important to still get some exercise, go for a walk, go for a jog. If you headed out this morning, we're in the upper 60s. Right now, temperatures right about where they were yesterday. Not much change out there if you were out early yesterday morning. Very similar this morning. A cold front off to the west. That's going to change things. First, it's going to bring the chance of a few showers. Watch Future Tracker, look for the green here as we go towards the late afternoon, early evening hours. 1 or 2 brief showers certainly are possible. That's this afternoon, this evening, and it's only a small chance and won't be very long lasting. So majority of the day will be dry. And look at those temperatures in the mid 80s today, Alexis. We'll cool down a little bit for our Sunday. We'll talk more about that and see if the kids wake up coming up in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Joey. Definitely thankful for this technology where we're able to do this. And you can stay connected to Joey and the forecast by downloading the Live 5 First Alert Weather app. You can find it for free in your phone's app store. The Trump administration is now limiting non-essential travel between the U.S. and Mexico. That policy went into effect at midnight. Mexican and American officials say the closure at the border will apply to recreational and tourist travel. The restriction is similar to the one placed on the northern border with Canada earlier this week. There's no word on how long the border closures will last. And the number of coronavirus cases continues to surge every day. And right now there are reports of more than 19,000 people who have tested positive for the virus in the U.S., with about 260 deaths. As Natalie Brand reports, this comes as millions of Americans are being directed to remain inside their homes.
I hate to say this, but it's true. We are now the epicenter of this crisis right here in the nation's largest city.
Across the country, government agencies at every level are enacting new restrictions to slow the spread of the coronavirus.
If we can't reduce or at least flatten the curve when it comes to the COVID infections, we're going to be in trouble.
California was the first state to issue a mandatory stay-at-home order. Others are now following its lead.
So we're going to put out an executive order today. New York State on pause.
President Trump says a nationwide lockdown is not being considered right now, but the president took another step to close the U.S. border.
As we did with Canada, we're also working with Mexico to implement new rules at our ports of entry to suspend non-essential travel.
Experts say keeping people home is the only sure way to cut down on new infections.
I don't think necessarily every single situation, every single region or location needs to be that way, but certainly in the response to the kind of situation that you're seeing in New York, and I think that was an appropriate move.
The needed closures have ground parts of the economy to a halt, triggering what some analysts predict could be an unprecedented surge in layoffs.
The bottom line is very simple. If we don't deal with the health crisis, nothing we do will make the economy any better.
Lawmakers have spent the day negotiating a $1 trillion stimulus package. The proposal includes relief for small businesses, loans to impacted industries, and direct cash payments to individuals based on income and family size.
The sooner you get the cash, the income flowing, the better it will be, because if people a week from now see no hope, you're going to have a lot of social unrest.
Majority Leader Mitch McConnell says the Senate will work through the weekend to hammer out the details. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
A member of Vice President Mike Pence's staff has tested positive for the coronavirus. A spokeswoman says neither Pence nor President Trump had recently been in close contact with that staff member. Parts of Trump's Florida resort has closed due to the pandemic. A member of the Mar-a-Lago resort says in an email that its main house, spa, and gym have been closed. A spokesperson for the Trump organization would not confirm if a specific club was affected by the virus. Coming up, officers involved in a deadly Walmart shooting are being cleared of charges. See why officials made this decision. But first, investigators believe they have found the body of a missing Colorado boy with ties to South Carolina. Officials in Florida believe they have found the body of a missing 11-year-old boy. Gannon Stotch has been missing out of Colorado since January. The body was found in Florida's Panhandle in an area just outside of Pensacola. An autopsy has tentatively identified the remains as Gannon's. Earlier this month, his stepmother, Letitia Stotch, was arrested in Myrtle Beach in connection to his death. A road in Hollywood is back open this morning after a person was hit by a car. Charleston County deputies responded to Highway 165 near Oyster House Road in Hollywood for that incident. We're waiting to learn more details about any injuries or if anyone was taken into custody. We'll keep you updated as we learn more. 2 officers involved in a deadly shooting at a Chester County Walmart will not face charges. The Attorney General's office has cleared the officers involved in the death of Arain McCree. Authorities say officers shot and killed McCree last November. It started when they were called to the store for a shoplifter. The Attorney General says McCree ran off after being handcuffed by the security guard and then headbutted an officer to get away. They say McCree got into a car and pulled out a gun. That's when the officer shot him. The Attorney General's office says the officers acted in self-defense. Coming up next, Kevin Bilodeau has a look at Cam Newton's possible future plans as another NFL quarterback signs a new contract. And meteorologist Joey Sovine will join us again for a full look at your weekend forecast.
Live 5 News.
All right, welcome back. The time right now, 7:15. I'm meteorologist Joey Sovine here on our Saturday morning and what looks like a beautiful day. Obviously, it looks a little bit different behind me here as we're changing things up a little bit at Live 5 News when we can. We're working from home and trying to distance ourselves a little bit. The kids are waking up in my house. My wife may jump on the treadmill in just a little bit. I thought we were going to have some special little visitors, but it looks like they decided for breakfast instead. So we may have them join me coming up in just a little bit. Look outside, show you what's going on this morning. The weather absolutely beautiful over the past couple of days. Don't see that changing today, at least for the most part. We do have some changes on the way over the next 24 hours. Pretty big changes, especially with our temperatures. But this morning, really not much change out there. Status quo. It's another very mild start in the mid to upper 60s with a southwest wind. A little bit of a breeze up again today, but it should be a very warm breeze this afternoon. 65 in Kingstree, 66 in Moncks Corner, 67 in Goose Creek and in North Charleston, around 64 in Georgetown. We're calling it our get outside forecast. Get outside, get some fresh air, get some exercise. If you headed out for a morning jog this morning, really looks nice out there. Beautiful start to our day. 76 at 10 o'clock. We're in the 80s at lunchtime, mid 80s for most of you this afternoon. Slight chance of shower coming in late this afternoon into this evening. Today's highs in the 80s, inland 70s along the coast. You can see a little bit of a difference there right along our beachfront where the water temperature is still in the mid 60s, and that has a cooling effect on the air temperature there as well. A couple spotty showers possible late today. What we're watching is a cold front off to our north and west. Future tracker showing a couple of spotty showers coming in right there this afternoon. The clock was about 4 or 5 o'clock for that timing of the shower chance, at least according to future tracker. So rain chance goes up a little bit, and then tomorrow a cloudier day will also be much cooler out there, and we may have to dodge a few showers. Now, you see rain in that forecast, and I know a lot of you with parents like me with kids that you need to get outside. Don't be overly concerned about this as far as rainy days where you won't be able to get them outdoors. These are more some scattered showers. They will not be all-day rains, just a little bit of rain kind of tossed in here or there. Temperature-wise, big change today to tomorrow. We'll go from the 80s today, 60s tomorrow, and then the 70s Monday and Tuesday. We'll start to warm things back up a little bit. You can see in the forecast as we go into next week, temperatures will be in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and then the 80s Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We may be in the upper 80s. My buddy just stopped in. We'll introduce you to my kids coming up in just a little bit.
Now, from the Low Country's news leader, it's time for the George Sink Sports Desk.
Hello, everybody. We'll begin with the NFL, and at this point, Cam Newton's tenure with the Carolina Panthers could officially be over at any minute now. We told you earlier this week the team granted Newton permission to seek a trade, which is their way of saying you're not going to be here much longer, but finding a trade partner has been tougher than they probably thought it would be. The Athletic reporting yesterday that both sides are having trouble finding a landing spot for the former league MVP, and since the Panthers just signed Teddy Bridgewater for $63 million, they need to get Newton's $20 million salary off the books. So if they can't find a trade partner soon, they're going to release the former number 1 overall pick. Betting odds say the Redskins are the most likely destination for Newton. That, of course, would reunite him with former head coach Ron Rivera. The Patriots have the next highest odds, followed by the Dolphins. This situation should be settled out by the start of next week at the latest. The Panthers did add a new weapon for Bridgewater on Friday, the team announcing they've signed former South Carolina star Pharaoh Cooper to a 1-year deal. The North Carolina native was an all-pro as a special teamer back in 2017. Last year, he played for both Arizona and Cincinnati with a career high in catches and yards, also bringing in a touchdown. Cooper was a 2-time All-SEC pick during his time with the Gamecocks, dating back to 2015. And of course, the story I can't wait to talk about, things became official Friday morning as Tom Brady put pen to paper and is now a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The 6-time Super Bowl champion told the New England Patriots on Monday that he wouldn't be returning for next season, and he decided on Tuesday to head down to Florida to play for the Bucs. Brady, of course, spent 20 seasons playing for the Patriots, where he helped lead the team to 9 Super Bowls overall and 6 victories. To women's college basketball, yesterday's Gamecocks guard Ty Harris was named 3rd-team All-American by the Associated Press. On Friday, she gets another award, one named after her coach. Harris is this year's winner of the Dawn Staley Award, going to the best guard in the country. Harris averaged a career-best 12 points a game last season, and her 5.7 assists, first best in the SEC. She becomes the second Gamecock to win the trophy after Tiffany Mitchell took it back home in 2015. And to baseball, we told you last week that the Yankees were found to have a couple of minor leaguers who had contracted the coronavirus. So basically, their entire minor league roster has been under quarantine since then. Among those players is Ashley Ridgelum and former Citadel ace James Reeves. He's in his 6th season with the Yankees organization and hoping to make a move to AAA this year. But he's been in lockdown this week like everyone else. I asked him over FaceTime on Friday what it was like finding out some of his teammates have the virus.
It's a little scary just because just the nature of baseball. You know, especially during spring training, you're in such close quarters and proximity to, probably I would say around 200 players at a time. But I think the Yankees, they acted so quickly. It was kind of, I don't know, it brought you a little peace of mind.
And that's going to do it for sports. Let's go back over to the main desk.
And this year's NCAA basketball tournament is called off because of the coronavirus pandemic. But to fill that void, CBS has come up with a way for you to still get somewhat of a March Madness fix. Starting today, CBS will be airing some classic March Madness games. The games include 8 national title contests and 1 Elite 8 matchup. Those games will be from the 80s and the 90s. Here's a look at those games airing today. It begins at noon with the North Carolina Tar Heels facing the Georgetown Hoyas for the 1982 National Championship. More games will also be aired tomorrow. After the break, what you need to know if you're looking for a job with the Charleston Police Department. And while the kids might not be in school, one low-country business owner wants to make sure they're still learning while outside the classroom. His company is giving away free school supplies today.
There's nothing more important than education and learning, and even though students won't be in school, learning still continues, and we just want to make sure we can help in any way.
Here are the details. You can pick up your free school supplies from 6 to 8 tonight at Michael & Company Barbershop. That's on Mazik Street in West Ashley, right off of St. Andrews Boulevard. And the Charleston Police Department is hiring, with more and more people moving to the Lowcountry. They're looking to hire more officers to keep everyone safe. The department says they're adjusting their ways just like everyone else amid the coronavirus pandemic. If you're interested in joining the department, we have a link on our live5news.com website under the big red box. And first responders and law enforcement are taking extra steps to help limit the spread of the coronavirus when responding to calls. Dorchester County emergency officials say you shouldn't change the way you call 911. But in Charleston County, you might see officers or deputies wearing masks or gloves when responding to calls with someone suspected of having the virus. EMS officials say they're also frequently sanitizing ambulances, beds, and equipment. Still ahead, a look at your local beaches to see which ones are implementing new restrictions and if any are still open. And a baby in the Midlands tests positive for the coronavirus. We'll hear from his mother as their whole family is under contract to not leave their home.
Now, from the Lowcountry's news leader, this is Live 5 News.
Good Saturday morning. We're expecting another warm spring day here in the Lowcountry. Let's head over to meteorologist Joey Sovine's home. He is joining us from at home right now as we are practicing social distancing here at Live 5. And we have a special guest there. Joey, who's that?
Alexis, these are my kids. Well, you see Brindley right here. Say hi to everybody at home. You say hi.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, and Easton, I think you're off camera, buddy. Oh. There we go. He's going to help me do the weather here. So the kids are awake. The wife's awake. I'm going to spare her jumping on at 7 o'clock in the morning after crawling out of bed. But yeah, this is going to be the new normal for a little while. Kiddos are awake and they're ready to play. And they actually want donuts this morning. Let's talk about your weather outside. What do you think of the weather, guys? Warm. You got that right. Yeah, it's going to be a nice day. Back in the 80s, warm. Yeah, but in the 80s this afternoon, already in the 60s this morning. We do have a cold front off to the west. That's going to cool us down tomorrow. May bring a little bit of rain. Is the weathercast boring you? You're already yawning back there. A couple of showers coming in this afternoon, perhaps for a few of you as a cold front moves through, but otherwise looks like a warm day to get your kids outside like these kiddos. If you're like me, trying to get them outside, good news is the weather's been great. Looks like another nice day. We'll be in the mid-80s this afternoon. So Alexis, a beautiful day. Kids are awake. We're going to go play for a few minutes, and then we'll have a look at your 7-day forecast coming up in about 10 minutes.
Loving seeing a glimpse of that dad life from Joey Sovine. And despite the beautiful spring weather, many South Carolina beaches are now restricting access to visitors. Folly Beach is now restricting access to the city and the beach. It went into effect yesterday afternoon. The access is restricted through the end of the month from 6 a.m. until 8 at night for non-residents and those without a pass. City leaders say a checkpoint will also be set up. Some visitors say they're disappointed by this change, but they understand the reasoning behind it.
I'm pretty bummed. I was hoping to come out here to get my tan on, but guess I can't do that. Well, I hope everyone stays safe. It's pretty tragic that they're closing the beach, but if it's safe, then I mean, it's reasonable.
For a list of who can enter Folly Beach once that checkpoint is set up, check out our website, live5news.com. Just search for this story. And here's a look at the new rules for other beach towns. Sullivan's Island is restricting beach access to the general public between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. That begins today through May 21st, but you can still enter the town. On Edisto Beach, however, you can't enter the town from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. unless you live there. That also goes into effect today. And the same goes for the Isle of Palms. Residents and those with permission will only be allowed in the town during those hours through April 4th. And down on Hilton Head Island, leaders there are outright closing the beach starting today. You will still be able to get on the island, but the beach will be closed for 60 days. Meanwhile, in the Grand Strand, officials say for now their beaches will stay open and they are continuing to discuss their options every day. But as Ian Klein reports, there are plans in place to break up those crowds if it's necessary.
The topic has been discussed by county leaders during their daily update conference calls with Horry County emergency personnel. But for now, no action will be taken to shut down the beaches, at least for now. Some beaches in the state of Florida are taking it upon themselves to close the beaches amid the coronavirus outbreak, even as spring breakers and others crowd their shores. Horry County Councilman Johnny Vaught says unlike dealing with a hurricane, so much of this coronavirus outbreak is still unknown. Horry County leaders have been meeting virtually nearly every day and are following orders from South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, along with DHEC and the CDC. He says most of the beaches in Horry County are part of municipalities, and they are currently leaving the decision to close the beaches up to the city leadership, but will all act as one if crowds and health safety become an issue.
There is a lot of traffic on the beach. There are a lot of spring breakers out there. It's not become a problem so far. Mr. Worley said that he didn't think that the beaches were as crowded as they have been in the past during spring break, but apparently it's probably heavier in Myrtle Beach right now than it is in North Myrtle Beach or in Surfside.
And the city of Myrtle Beach did post on their Facebook page a few hours ago that their beaches are remaining open and can be enjoyed responsibly. We also seen state parks in South Carolina are remaining open as well. But as we've seen throughout this entire week, changes are constantly being made to prevent this coronavirus from spreading. Reporting in Horry County, Ian Klein, WMBF News.
In the Midlands, a 7-month-old baby boy has tested positive for COVID-19. Baby Emmett has also been diagnosed with viral pneumonia. His mother, Courtney Doster, says her mother also has tested positive for the virus. Doster also has a 4- and 2-year-old who she says are not showing any signs of illness. However, she's still worried about all of her children.
Absolutely just very, very scary not to know. Could he make a turn from the worst tonight, and just not be able to breathe? I've noticed him coughing more than he did in the beginning, and so that's very scary.
Doster says their family is under a legal contract with the State Department of Health not to leave their home until April 1st. A new report from the CDC breaks down the numbers of deaths here in the U.S. from the virus and how coronavirus is affecting newborns in China. Elise Preston has the latest.
A new CDC report finds fatalities from the new coronavirus in the U.S. mirror deaths in other countries. Up to 27% of fatalities have been people over the age of 85, up to 11% among those 65 to 84. Ages 55 to 64, up to 3%, 1% for younger adults, and no deaths among children. Notably, among hospitalized patients in the U.S., nearly half admitted to intensive care units have been adults under the age of 65. Researchers in Australia have examined one of the nation's first coronavirus patients to better understand the disease. Doctors accurately predicted the otherwise healthy woman in her 40s who was hospitalized would recover from the virus in 3 days by mapping her body's immune cells. And preliminary data from China finds coronavirus is likely not transmitted from pregnant mothers to their newborn babies. 4 babies born in Wuhan, the epicenter of the virus, did not show any symptoms of the virus. 3 tested negative, while the mother of the 4th declined permission for the test. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Elise Preston, CBS News, New York.
The economy continues to struggle amid the coronavirus pandemic. Coming up, the plan in the works in Washington to ease recent hardships.
Take a Stand is an expression of opinion from the editorial board of WCSC and is presented by Vice President and General Manager Dan Cates.
We all understand the threat from coronavirus and COVID-19 is real. It's not normal times and truly uncharted territory. We've never seen anything like it. We also know tough times can bring out the best in people or the worst in people. Mostly, I'm seeing the best. A lot of you are at home or working remotely. It seems like people are going out of their way to be extra friendly, to say hello from a safe distance, to call an elderly neighbor and offer to pick up some groceries or toilet paper if you can find it to leave on the front porch. It's heartwarming. That's because in all this chaos, I see a lot of heroes, doctors, nurses, anyone who works at a hospital, a lab, or a doctor's office, heroes. Police, fire, paramedics, still working to protect us, heroes. Those working hard to keep the shelves stocked at grocery stores and pharmacies, God love them, heroes. Truck drivers working hard to keep up with the incredible demand, heroes. Businesses are hit hard, especially restaurants trying to stay open for pickup and delivery, heroes. Our team at Live 5, many are working remotely, but others are not. Working every day here at the station and out in the field, being careful, but still bringing you the news every day, heroes. You at home being careful to keep your family safe, heroes. It's a big challenge, but you know what? We've been challenged before. The Charleston earthquake in 1886, the Spanish flu pandemic in 1918, the Great Depression, the polio outbreak, Hurricane Hugo, Mother Emanuel Church. Our parents and their parents, they've been through tough and challenging times, and they did what they had to do to get through it. We don't know how long this will last, but some point it will pass. The normal low-country traffic backups probably won't bother us one bit. We're here for you at Live 5, but let's also take some time to watch a good comedy or an old Tom and Jerry cartoon. We'll be praying for those who are sick. We'll get through this together, and we'll be stronger together. Stay safe.
The opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints expressed in this editorial do not necessarily reflect the opinions, beliefs, and viewpoints of Live 5 News or Gray Television.
Now, your first alert forecast from Live 5 News.
All right, welcome back and good Saturday morning to you. 7:45 is the time right now. I'm meteorologist Joey Sohan. Obviously, different surroundings here behind me as I'm working from home today as we kind of transition to that for some of us at the Live 5 News staff. As much social distancing as we can gain is what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to practice what we preach, and hopefully that helps to mitigate the problem. We're all doing our part to try to help out in all of this. And so you'll see some new surroundings. Just a short time ago, you saw the kids wake up and join me for the weather. Now they're downstairs having their breakfast and watching a little bit of TV. So let's talk about what's going on with your weather this morning. Looks like a beautiful day ahead. A nice sunrise out there as we look live into downtown Charleston. 67 degrees this morning. Light went out of the south and west. The sun came up at 7:22. The sun set just a little bit after 7:30 this evening. Maybe that's a benefit to all of this. A lot of you have been kind of pausing to catch a sunrise or a sunset, and should be another nice one on the way this evening. 60s out the door right now. If you are headed out for a morning walk or jog, new routine with a lot of you out of the gyms now, going out for maybe more exercise in the morning. And the weather, absolutely beautiful. In fact, almost late spring-like with temperatures normally in the 40s this time. The average low still in the upper 40s. We're starting out in the 60s. 76 at 10 o'clock, 82 at noon, and low 80s if you, like me, have small kids, want to get them outside, or you just yourself. The weather looks really nice through the afternoon. Very warm for this time of the year. The average high is about 71, 72 degrees, and we're going to be in the mid-80s for all inland spots. Along the coast, we'll see high temperatures in the 70s. Now, we do have some changes on the way. Let's talk about that with live Super Doppler Max and cold front off to our north and west. With a few showers, this isn't going to bring us a ton of rain, but will bring in a slight chance of a shower as we get into the afternoon hours. So maybe as early as about 3, 4 o'clock, could start to see a few showers. Maybe if you're in Georgetown, Williamsburg, Horry County, chance of a shower a little bit earlier. Not a ton of rain, but there will be a few showers out there, so just a heads up on that. Notice how the gray expands as we go into tomorrow morning on Future Tracker. That's indicative of what's going to be a pretty cloudy Sunday. And then you can see late in the day the chance of rain may move in from the west. So we're going to increase the rain chances a little bit. Doesn't look terribly wet for, I know, a lot of you parents looking at that forecast, seeing the rain chance in there every day, may be concerned you're not going to be able to get the kids outside. Doesn't look like that kind of weather pattern, just a few passing showers over the next couple of days. Temperatures will be cooling down, 80s today, 60s tomorrow, but it's short-lived. We're back in the 70s Monday and Tuesday. You notice the cool downs over the last couple of weeks, not as cool as the ones before, and they're also shorter-lived. So one day in the 60s, back into the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and then 80s Wednesday, Thursday. Will be perhaps in the upper 80s by the end of next week.
The Dow tumbled more than 900 points to end another bad week on Wall Street. It's reportedly on pace for its worst month since 1931. As Chris Van Cleve reports, we're only starting to learn what this pandemic means for the workforce.
The news of her layoff came as a total surprise to eye doctor Drosti Makwana.
I never thought at 33 I'd be filing for unemployment.
But as 5 of her eye clinic's 6 branches closed down, she finds herself applying for unemployment benefits.
So I had to resubmit everything today. It crashed like 3 times in the process, so it's tough.
Sheila Red drives a school bus in Illinois. But schools are closed, so she's out of a job and not sure unemployment will be enough.
We already only just get paid weekly. But now to go from weekly to nothing at all, that was my biggest fear.
The Senate is racing to pass a $1 trillion economic stimulus bill. The Republican-crafted package would send money directly to Americans based on income and family size, up to $1,200 per person and $2,400 per couple. It would also provide loans to small businesses and big industries like airlines, who have asked for nearly $60 billion in aid. United told employees today if that help doesn't come by the end of the month, it will have to slash its payroll by up to 60%. And these striking pictures. Delta has started parking hundreds of its airplanes. Laura Einstelter is an airline pilot who was furloughed after 9/11.
It's been shocking every day. To some degree, it almost feels like electrocution every other day because it's news, and forever changing situations.
While economists are predicting record levels of unemployment that could see as many as 3 million unemployed workers this week alone, there are some bright spots. Walmart says it's adding 150,000 jobs. Domino's says they're hiring 10,000. And JPMorgan Chase is paying bonuses to its tellers of $1,000 each to stay on the job. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Washington.
2 executives from Boeing are turning down their paychecks amid the financial downturn caused by the coronavirus. The company CEO and its chairman of the board both say they will forgo their pay for the rest of the year. Boeing says the company will also stop paying out dividends to stockholders until further notice. They have asked the federal government for $60 billion in assistance for the aerospace industry. But that request has come under fire as most of Boeing's money trouble is related to the 737 MAX crisis. And Google is launching an educational website for the coronavirus. The site google.com/COVID-19 launched today. It features information and safety tips about the pandemic and how to support relief efforts. It will not include a testing screener. Google has previously said they hope to include a link to the CDC's screening tool on its website, but that does not appear to be ready at this time. As hundreds of retail stores closed during the pandemic, one chain is arguing its locations are essential. Hundreds of GameStop stores are still open across the U.S. This includes New York, where the state has ordered non-essential retail to close. The video game retailer says it is essential as it sells computer equipment to help people work from home. But that equipment is only sold at select stores. Sales of video games have gone up for both retailers in-store and online. And Scripps is postponing its National Spelling Bee due to the virus. The annual contest was scheduled to start on May 24th in Oxon Hill, Maryland. That's just outside of the nation's capital. 500 students from around the country were scheduled to compete. Scripps says it is hoping to reschedule the 93rd edition of the Bee later this year. Up next, see how medical dramas on TV are helping the real-life professionals during the coronavirus pandemic.
All right, welcome back. Getting a last look at your forecast. A beautiful sunrise here across the low country on our Saturday. A lot of Saturday that everybody needs. Kind of take a break for a little while, maybe go outside this morning and just enjoy the beautiful weather. Great start to our day. Temperatures late spring-like, starting out in the 60s this morning, but not for long. We'll jump right up into the 70s over the next hour to 2 hours. Be in the low 80s at noon, and we're in the mid 80s for high temperatures this afternoon. There are some changes on the way. It will be cooling down tomorrow into the 60s and then back up in the 70s quickly there on Monday. Chance of rain does start to go up a little bit. Not a ton of rain, but there will be a few showers. And then by the end of the week, we may be even warmer next Friday, Alexis. So at least it's some nice weather as we are able to get outside, and it's important, especially in this time where we're kind of cooped up quite a bit to get outside and get some fresh air.
Definitely is, definitely is. Thank you so much, Joey. It's so nice to have an appearance from your little ones as well today. And take a look at this. They may only play doctors and firefighters on TV, but the supplies on medical dramas are definitely real. And some of those shows are donating them to local emergency services in need. Station 19, a show about firefighters in Seattle, donated about 300 masks to help real firefighters in California. Other shows, including Grey's Anatomy, The Resident, and The Good Doctor, have also all donated supplies from the set, like gloves, gowns, and masks. And we thank you for tuning in to Live 5 News this morning. We are here to keep you updated on all the latest.